And we're on. All right, so we're live now. Okay, so this is the book we're going to be talking about. Professor Claus's Notary Best Practices. Yeah. So I know for some of us, we just got the book and haven't got a chance to really go over chapter one. For those of you who were a part of my last book club meeting, this book is sounding like it's very similar to the how-to book for notaries, but we'll see as we move on. So it is 30 chapters in this book. So I am thinking that I'm not going to do one chapter a week because we'll be doing this for a very long time. So I'm thinking we should probably do 3 chapters a week when we meet. It doesn't look like they're like really big. The one thing is the very small writing that makes it a lot. When I was reading, I'm like, oh my, very small writing. But but we'll get through it. We'll get through it. Professor Clausen is very knowledgeable, and I was looking forward to getting this book. So, chapter one, it just talks about notary qualifications. So, are there any new notaries here? Anyone who has not been working as a notary? Okay, Corinne,
I've done a
Danielle.
couple.
You done a couple? Okay. General notary or loan signing?
General notary.
General notary. Okay. Um, I think Jewel is new. I know Sabrina is new. Deidre,
Yes,
have you done any
I'm
notary
from.
work?
I've been at it now since May, but I've actually only had 2 clients.
Really?
So I've
Okay.
done,
All right.
yeah, two.
Okay. Well, you got time to learn some more stuff, right?
Yep, that's what I've been doing.
So since we're all notaries already, we already know pretty much about the notary qualifications and things like that. That's really what chapter one was talking about. How to apply qualifications. Was there anything in chapter one that you guys in particular really agree with or didn't agree with?
No,
Or
I
something?
like the fact that he was saying about the age in education,
Yeah.
because it's kind of sounds like it's, well, when you talk to people, they make it sound like it's so easy to get into, and you don't need to be this age, or you don't have to have that much education. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm glad I do have a little more education and I'm older, because a lot of this stuff you really need to research and know people. You need to know, have some idea about laws and liability and things like that. Is not quite as easy as people make it sound like.
Yeah, yeah. Just reading it, I agree. There is a lot of liability that comes
Yeah.
with it. If you're not careful, if you're not educating yourself on a regular basis, like um if I've learned anything since I've been a notary, and I've been a notary for a little over a year, what I've learned is you never stop learning. You never stop learning, and there are going to be things that you read along the way that you end up forgetting if you're not actually practicing it. So you're going to always end up going back and looking like and questioning yourself. Like in a group, I saw someone ask, do you ever question yourself when you're doing notary? And I'm like, all the time. I'm like, all the time, right? When you're sitting there and you're looking at the certificate and you're looking at the documents, and you're always going to second guess yourself, like, okay, because you want to make sure that you perform the duty correctly, but you also want the customer to be confident that you are knowledgeable enough to complete the certificate correctly, right? So you're just sitting there and you're looking at it like, "Oh, okay, and then every once in a while you will say, oh, hmm, like, let me think about this one for a little bit. So yes. Now I don't know if I agreed with the more education part because, you know, I think it all stems from how well a person learns. You have some people who learn things really quickly, and you have people where they just are just a little slower to pick it up than others, you know. And I don't believe that has anything to do with education. because I know some people who, don't even have a high school diploma who are extremely smart people, and they pick up on things very, very quickly, Um, so that kind of caught me off guard. I was like, I don't know if I agree with that, but I understand where he's coming from with it. I do. Now, let me see. What else? Now, like this is what we were talking about, where it says on 1.2 on page 34, the notary applicant should strive to exceed the minimum qualifications required to become a notary public. Do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Absolutely. Because if you just do the bare minimum, then you're not really preparing yourself for everything that you will come across while you're performing your duties as a notary. There are some things that I've come across since being a notary that I hadn't, I've come across forms I haven't seen before, obviously, because when I very first started out, I didn't see any forms, so all I knew was if it had the notary block, then I knew I was to fill it out, sign it, and seal it, right? But then you come across documents who don't have the certificate, and or you come across documents where um, you're gonna notarize and then you don't have enough room for your stamp, so like what do you do? So coming across all of those different things. So doing the bare minimum is like, yeah, no, you need to make sure that you step it up a notch. You definitely want to make sure you exceed that minimum because you want to be really knowledgeable and you want to be prepared to answer questions if they come about that you
Yeah,
are able to answer anyway, right?
that's that's also the same like when you're in school and you're doing for math and language particularly, but you give more than what's requirement. So you don't just get to right to the answer, you show the work, right? Because that's what the
Exactly.
teacher wants to see, that understand the process, and that's how you
Mm-hmm.
retain it.
Hmm. Absolutely. And then it's important that we know that every state is different, because you have like in the group, people will ask questions and they they don't put their state, and so everybody from several states are commenting and saying this is what you're supposed to do. You don't do that, and and it's like, well, you don't know what state they're in. So depending on the state that they're in and the jurisdiction for which they serve, they may be allowed to do that. So it would be best answered by someone who is in the same state, right? But I too had to learn that along the way because when I first started out, you know, and I was learning, I found out that there are states that are not allowed to do some of the things that I can do in my state, and then vice versa, they can't do some of the things I can do in my state in their state. So definitely learning that, you know, and it's nothing for you to just learn it, if you see somebody says, I'm in this state and can so and so, there's nothing wrong with you looking at their state handbook like, huh, yeah, you can do that. That's interesting. There's nothing wrong with learning the different state because another thing you're going to come across is while you're doing notary work, you're not going to always be doing notary work for your state only. There are going to be people coming from out of state. They may have a document that was drawn up in their state, and they technically can get it notarized anywhere. It doesn't have to be notarized in their state, you know. So if they come to you with a document from another state, you want to know what you're looking at, right? So so that's definitely important. Definitely like you said, show your work, right? Like with math. All right, let's see. Now it says, should you read and study the state or territorial notary statute in your official state?
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot, but it's interesting, but it's not like you're gonna be able to memorize everything, but you should at least make the effort and to know as much as you can, at least know to where to go. I know how to research something, especially if you have to do something on the spot, I would imagine.
Do any of you carry like your state handbook with you?
No.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I keep
Yeah.
that little sucker in my bag at all times because you never know when you're gonna come across something. And like you said, is it Karen or Kareen?
Kareem.
Okay. Like you said, Kareen, you may come across something. You're not gonna remember everything in that book. So you want to be able to whip it out like, okay, let me see. Oh, that's what I thought. And at least know where you're looking too, right?
Right.
You don't want to be one of those people you get the handbook and you never opened it. It's just like, I know it should be in here. So I'll go ahead and open it today. Now another one. It talks about notary ethics and laws. Is anyone a part of the National Notary Association? Yeah, good. So yeah, they have the what is it called? Notary ethics on how how you should um act when you're performing your duties, right? This is professional ethics. I have it downloaded. I think it's notary professional ethics or something like that. But read it. If you ever get a chance, read it. It has some really good information in there. Um some stuff is self-explanatory, but common sense is not common. So it doesn't hurt to read it. Let me see if I
I just
can.
got my card. It just the membership card. I was like, I was so excited.
All official and stuff.
All coming
Absolutely.
together. Slowly, but for me, but it's coming together.
Okay. All right. They say slow and steady wins the race, so nothing wrong with that. All right. Now, definitely staying abreast of any changes in the notary law. So y'all know come 2022, there's a lot of states that are going to be having some new laws, some changes, right? So making sure that we educate ourselves on those changes. And of course, because there's going to be changes, they're probably going to come out with a new handbook. We're going to have to purchase a new handbook. So I was like, oh, got to get ready for that. Let's see. This wasn't a big chapter. Let's see. Should understand the qualifications. Yeah. Okay. So that was really it for chapter 1. Did you guys have any questions? Anything else that kind of um was new? Like, oh, I didn't know that. I said a lot of this information was from the last book that we talked about. So when I read it, I was just like, oh, okay, this is the same stuff I already went over in the other book. So
What
like I
book was-
said, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. What book was the last book that you guys just finished?
How to Guide for Notaries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a fun book. It was. But like I said,
Yeah.
from just looking over this book, it seems like this is the exact same thing. Yeah, Sabrina has that book right there.
Yep.
That's the one. That's the one.
Did you?
Yeah, that's the one.
Did
Yeah, I
you
got
record
it.
it?
I took off the spine and spiralized it.
Oh,
Nice.
I
I
like
love
to do that
that.
to my books. I'm going to do that to that one too. It makes it look bigger for some reason, huh?
Yeah, staples, and then I just made notes and wrote all over this thing. This has been like my Bible. I think out of all the courses and things that I've taken, that's probably the one thing that's taught me how to actually execute.
Mm-hmm.
do
Yeah,
the notarizations.
yeah, I agree.
I'm bummed that I missed that book club. I was like,
Yeah. So
Oh,
I was
it's
wondering,
okay.
did you record that one, that book club?
Did.
Okay, so then
Yep.
I'll go to
It's
your
on the
YouTube
YouTube
and
page.
do it. Okay,
Yes,
great.
yes, yes.
yeah,
Good.
that's
I'll
good
do
idea.
that.
Okay, I'm gonna do that too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was pretty fun. We had some little Kahoot quiz games and stuff. It was really fun. We had a lot of fun with it. All right. So, like I said, I think that we should dive into this 3 chapters at a time because it's 30 chapters and I don't want to be all, going into the summer of next year trying to read this thing. So, um, next week, the 7:30 work for you guys? I made it a little later than usual because with my husband starting back to work, I have to make sure I make dinner when I get off of work. I get off of work at 6. So I'm making dinner and eating with the family, or if we go to Taco Tuesdays. So I just want to make sure I can do that when I get off and then come and do this. So if I ever am going to be later, I will always let you guys know. I always try to make sure I post in the group so that I can be respectful of your time. I don't want you waiting around like, okay, she didn't start yet. If I'm going to be late, I'll let you know. And then you could just decide if you want to join or if you're just going to catch us on the next one. But so Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time is when we're going to be here. The next week, chapter 2, 3, and 4 is what we're going to talk about. Okay.
3 and
Yeah,
4.
2, 3, 4.
2,
Yep,
3,
2, 3, 4. Yes. And then I will always record because I know, like I said, some people, if they can't make it, they do like to go back to those recordings and just look and see what we talked about. See if we asked them the questions that they already had. And then if they have any questions, they leave me comments under the video. And then I'll respond when I get a chance. Okay. All right. So if you guys don't have any other questions, then we
have a
can go
question.
ahead and. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
The last book that you did, do you have a playlist on your YouTube for all the videos are under one?
Yep, yep. All the videos I posted to the group YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel is the same name as the notary group, guys. It's Start Forward, Grow for Notaries.
Okay, got it.
Alrighty. All right. Well, I will see you guys next week. Same time, same place.
Thank you,
Hi,
everyone.
have a good
Thank you so
night.
much. Thank you. Have a great week, everyone.
You same to
Bye.
you.
Right.
Thank you.